Hey y'all, Bill Quirk with the Defensive Training Group and Shoot GTR. Here today to do a quick video on a very frequently asked question. I want to take a class, what do I need to bring? Obviously this answer is going to be based, it's going to be dependent upon the class you're going to. If you're coming to a introductory class, your needs will be a little bit different than if it's something, I don't like using the word advanced, but something higher up the ladder, if you will. What you need for our Defensive Handgun 1 is going to be subtly different than what you might need for my stress drills and CQB class, which is a building clearing class. But essentially, there's some similarities there, and that's what we're going to talk about. And this is primarily for people that are just getting started. Once you've been to a couple of classes, you'll have a better feel for what kind of stuff do you need. So right off the bat, if it's a shooting class, obviously you're going to need your weapon system, your handgun, your rifle, shotgun, whatever the class is going to require. A couple of things about that. One, try to bring a weapon system that you know works. One of the most frustrating things that can happen to a student is when they show up to class with a brand new gun, they're not really sure how to use it, and they're not really sure if it in fact is reliable. And I see this not a lot, but not infrequently either, where they'll show up with a brand new gun. They just bought this and they're not clear on the operation of the gun. And sometimes the gun itself hasn't broken in, doesn't run, whatever the case may be. And that causes a lot of frustration. You're not getting your most benefit from the class because you're focused on trying to figure the gun out and not learning what's being taught in the class. So try to bring a weapon system that you know works, it's reliable. We're going to talk more about that when we get to magazines and ammunition in a sec. Before I get there though, it's also, if you can, and it's not necessary, especially on an introductory class, probably not as big of an issue, but for an upper level class, bringing a secondary weapon system, a spare weapon system is always a good idea. I don't do many multi-day programs anymore, but when I used to, or if you're going somewhere to a multi-day program, having a spare weapon system, something that's mostly identical to your primary, can save you a lot of headache if something goes down with your primary. Going along with that, use ammunition that you know works from a good reputable source. Avoid reloads or the old stuff that you've had in the garage for a couple of years. Try to get some good factory fresh ammunition from a reputable source, reputable manufacturer. Again, to help hedge your bets that the weapon's gonna run. You've got good ammunition, you're feeding it good stuff. Magazines. In a beginning class, the magazines that come with the weapon probably gonna be fine. So if you have 2, maybe 3 magazines, that'll probably get you through, because the rate of fire, the amount of rounds you fire in a beginning class, probably not gonna be all that high. But as you start going up the ladder, say for a class like my reactive handgun fundamentals, which is all day on the range, and that's anywhere from 300 to 400 rounds fired. If you can bring 5 or 6 or even 7, 8 magazines, that's gonna really help you out. If a mag goes bad, you've got other spares. You can preload them the night before or the week before and just leave them loaded. That's gonna save you some time in class. You're not trying to load your magazines, you've already got loaded magazines. For example, when I do my classes, just in general, I have training mags that are in my range bag. And at the end of every day, every training day, I load them all back up. So when I come in the next day, they're good to go, ready for me. I'm not taking my students' times having to load my mags. When I'm doing a full class, whether as a student or as a teacher, I'm gonna bring multiple magazines, usually 5 to 10 at least, depending on what the class is. And they're already loaded, ready to go. So now, on a break, I can come back and think about what's next if I'm teaching, or what I've just done if I'm a student. And I'm not having to jock those magazines, get those magazines ready. I just take my partial ones off, put them in my range bag, and I grab fresh ones from my stash. So more magazines is always gonna be better. Now magazines can be expensive, you don't gotta go crazy. Generally, for any gun that I'm gonna use for any kind of real purpose, I'm gonna carry it, I'm gonna train with it, I want at least 5 magazines, and that's a minimum in my mind. So gun, spare weapon system, good ammunition, and your magazines. Going along from that, or going beyond that, your clothing. I've had a friend of mine from the Pacific Northwest where they have a lot of inclement weather, and he says there is no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing choices. So make sure that what you're wearing is appropriate for where you're gonna be and what you're gonna do. In Florida, especially in the summer, rain is a frequent occurrence and it may pop up. And the weather forecast may say it's gonna be beautiful, and then all of a sudden you've got a torrential downpour. Some provision for rain wear, a rain jacket, good idea to have. I keep mine in the car, so it's always accessible to me. Avoid, especially for the ladies, low plunging necklines. We don't want brass to have an easy access to get inside of the shirt. Something that's going to give you a nice high neck. Something that's going to give you some protection from the elements, but not too thick. You know, when you're wearing a hoodie in the middle of summer, you're going to pass out from heat stroke. A hat's a very good thing. It protects your head, especially someone like me without a whole lot of hair up there. And also it'll protect you from brass. If brass starts coming back at you or from a neighbor person shooting next to you, it gives you a little bit of protection to make sure it doesn't sneak down between your eye pro and your face. Eye pro and ear pro, obviously essential. Eye pro, you can wear regular sunglasses, they're probably going to be fine. Again, especially in an introductory class where we're shooting mostly paper. As you climb that ladder and start doing more stuff that maybe involves steel targets and reactive targets and whatnot, having actual shooting glasses, sunglasses perhaps, that are ballistic rated, going to give you a bit more protection, and that is an important consideration, so bear that in mind. Your ear pro. Plugs do work if you put them in correctly. Make sure that they're actually into the ear channel. They can work fine. Regular muffs can be okay. If you're going to be shooting a lot, I do highly recommend some variant of electronic ear pro. For those of you that don't know what this is, these suppress the gunshot, but they amplify voices and other quiet sounds so that you can still hear what's going on around you. You can hear my commands as the teacher. You can engage in conversations without pulling your ear pro off and whatnot. So we sell these in the shop. These are the Walker Razors in the golden brown sprinkle format. So you can see it looks like a little sprinkle cupcake there or something. Ear pro is going to be important, and it is something that along with your eye pro you do want to invest in if you're going to be doing a lot of this. Okay. Belt. So this is something that sometimes people don't give the appropriate amount of attention to. They don't pay attention to the quality of the belt, and they just wear their ordinary trouser belt, or they get something from Walmart or Target or whatever. Again, that'll probably be fine when you're starting, but if you're going to continue taking classes rather, investing in a good gun belt, something that's got enough rigidity to support all of the gear that you're going to be wearing, the holstered pistol, your magazines and spare magazine pouches and stuff of that nature, maybe a medical kit, we're going to talk about those things. Something that's going to give you good support to accommodate all that equipment. The brand that we sell in the shop is the Next belt. These are ratcheting. I don't have a whole lot of experience with them, but several of the staff use them. Several of my students use them, and I've gotten really good reviews. A lot of praise for this product, so something to think about. Good belt, absolutely essential, because that's the foundation from all the other stuff we're going to talk about now. So a good holster. If you're doing something involving pistol, even if it's a rifle or a shotgun class, if you're going to have a pistol on, because we'll be doing transitions from long gun to handgun, you need a good, safe holster. A nylon type, one size fits nothing, probably not your best bet. You want to invest in something, and they're not ridiculously expensive, but be prepared to spend between say 50 and to 150 on a good solid holster. It's not uncommon, I'll see people that spend a lot of money on their gun and then they try to cut corners on the holster and on the belt and the other stuff we talked about. You don't want to do that. It's all part of a system, and it has to all work together in order to give you the best result. So your belt, your holster, your mag pouches, and the gun all come together. And on a similar vein, if you're going to be getting into concealed carry, one of the biggest mistakes people make is not paying consideration to that foundational system, and then their overall experience is not very good. The comfort's not there. They don't like it. They feel conspicuous because it's shifting and it's not comfortable, and it's printing through their shirt and whatnot, or their overgarment. By paying more consideration to those building block elements, those foundational elements, you are going to get a better result and a better experience, both in class and also when you're actually out in public with a gun on. So a good holster. This is an example. Again, I took all these from the shop, all these things I'm showing you. This is from JX Tactical, used to be T5 Custom Kydex. And this is a brand, when they were T5 Custom Kydex, we started carrying them because this is what I used. And I've used them for years. Very, very good product. They make a bunch of different sizes. We can order them through the shop, and pretty quick turnaround, but this is an example. This is a Kydex, so it's a hard shell holster that's molded for your specific gun. You can get them for just the gun plus certain weapon lights and things like that, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, appendix, whatever your needs are. And if you're not sure about those things, I've done another video on that previously, but reach out and ask and we'll help you with your holster selection because this is critical. The good holster is going to be critical for your overall experience. Talked about having spare magazines, having spare magazine pouches. It's not wrong if you don't ever use a pouch to run from your pocket, but by the same token, you're going to get a better result, more consistent performance. And you've all heard me talk about how consistency is so important for your overall experience. So a magazine pouch is going to consistently position that magazine for easy extraction when you're going to reload your weapon system. You can do it out of the pocket, a little bit slower, a little bit more prone to the magazine floating around in the pocket, and maybe when you go to grab it, it's moved into a different orientation. Whereas when I pull out of my magazine pouch, I always have the correct orientation because the magazine pouch ensures that that's the way it's going to be. So magazine pouches, one, you could run your additional magazine in a pocket, but one or two is probably going to be fine. Last thing to talk about is medical. And if you take any class with me, we'll probably go over the med brief. It's one of the first things I do in conjunction with a safety brief. And I'm going to have medical equipment with me. Everywhere I go, I carry my trauma kit in my bellows pocket here, and you can't see this because of the camera, but on my hip I have my tourniquet, and I carry that everywhere I go, whether I'm teaching at the range or whether I'm not. I have these things with me. Good idea to at least have a tourniquet. This is the Cat 7. This is the one that we sell in the shop. This is what I carry as well. These are outstanding. Take it out of the wrapper. You're not trying to rip this open when you need to put it on. So take it out of the wrapper and have somewhere on your body where you can stage this so that you can access it with either hand in any kind of position you may find yourself. But at least a tourniquet, that's a good idea. Having a trauma kit either on you or in your range bag, not a bad idea as well. Having a boo-boo pouch, which would be Band-Aids, maybe some aspirin, stuff of that nature, that's not a bad idea as well. Band-Aids are probably the most commonly utilized medical equipment in my classes. Someone will get a cut or something and we'll have to wrap that up. So if you've got the Band-Aids with you, no big deal. We can make that happen very easily. Going along with that, and to wrap up, good hydration. So when we're out shooting, we don't want a cup, an open cup where discharge from the weapons you can get lead in there, and that's not going to be good for you. So you want something with a top on it, a water bottle with a cap, or something along those lines that's going to protect that from stuff getting in there into the fluid. But staying hydrated, especially in the summer, is going to be critical. Something you want to pay attention to because it can sneak up on you. Bug spray, sunscreen, those are both very important. I generally have that stuff on my bay. Either in my range bag or in my cabinet, but you bring it if you're somewhere else or other circumstances, it's not a bad thing for you to have as well. So that's just to give you an idea, a little bit of a laundry list of stuff that you should think about when preparing for a class to help set yourself up for success. As I said with some other things earlier on, nothing's more frustrating than getting to a class that you've spent your hard-earned dollars on and finding out that you're ill-equipped, that your stuff doesn't work, that you don't have an essential piece of equipment that's going to let you be successful. Very frustrating, and it detracts from the overall educational experience. And that's why you're there, is to learn, okay? So as always, if you have any questions, leave them below, any comments, give us a share, give us a like, and you all stay safe.